Hey everybody, happy, fabulous, fantastic Friday fun day. Better than that. Scrap Masters Series 2, week number 7. I'm your carefree quilter, Rob Appell. Welcome to the fantastic weekly sew along. Are you ready for this? Let's get stitching. Well, welcome back, Scrap Masters. That's right, it is a fantastic Friday. My name is Rob Appell from Stitchin Heaven out in Quitman, Texas, and I absolutely love making quilts, especially with all of you joining me here on a Friday afternoon. If you are joining and it's 2 p.m. Pacific time, Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern time, please join us in the chat. This is a premiere, so we can talk along, have a great time, and it's really wonderful to see all of my old friends and always new friends. So if you're here today and you're new, please just at least say hello. Let us know where you're coming from. Drop us maybe a quick message, what the weather's like, or what you've been working on currently. You don't have to, I don't even think you can put up photos. So anyways, great to have you here. 85,000 subscribers. If you're not one, make sure you are by the end of this afternoon. This is absolutely fantastic. So I'm excited about everything that is going on today, and we are going to dive into our Scrap Masters Series number 2, free patterns in the link below. We're going to roll and spin our way to a random quilt block. I set myself a challenge on this Series 2 to use these low volume neutrals that I have created. You can see the first 6 up on the wall, and it's way too soon to say anything other than I have 6 blocks on the wall. I am absolutely enamored with the way this first quilt designed itself. Yes, I said that correctly. 35 blocks up here. We made them together 1 week at a time, and it was super, super fun to assemble them and watch them and move them and scramble them around on the design wall over and over again. So I will only say there are 6 blocks on the wall. I won't say at the moment that I love them all as much as I love all of these blocks, but sometimes as they come together, as we know, fabric plays and does things around each other. Having beautiful blocks sometimes around a not so terrific block will really help it out. So anyways, let's do this. Let's roll and spin our way to week number 7 and see what we get. First roll is created. Remember, there are no rules. Like I said, free patterns in the link below. Series 1 and Series 2. Use whichever blocks you want and then spin for the color and or the number of fabrics we're going to get to here in a second. So here we go. What block are we using week 7? Listen here. Another 6, and I avoided it over and over again last week, but I'm not going to do it again. So block 6, here we go. What's it look like? That crazy star again, the checkered star. Block 6, we're doing it. What color are we doing it in? Let's get a good flick this time. Last week was it's a dainty little spin. Oh, there we go. What do we got? What do we got? Oh, I like that. A red violet. Red violet, block 6. How many different fabrics? Always going for a medium number. We've got 20 to work with here. More than that in the scrap pile, thanks to the scrap cam over there. Hopefully it's recording this week. It didn't last week. Anyways, let's do this. How many fabrics? 15. I love it. Now, let's pick this all out and prep it before I dive into talking about some of our announcements while I'm sewing. I'm going to try to just do it all at once today so that we can kind of just keep the video flowing and all of that. But here we go. 15 different fabrics. I'm going to start with my red violet, and that means that I'm going to pull this, I believe, as my base, especially because I haven't used it yet. And I feel like either of these two, I've only got 9 to choose from. This is definitely in the violet category. And that would be more in also the violet. I don't feel like, yeah, we're going to call this our red violet. It's questionable. And so is the scrap master himself. So let's keep on moving here. We have 15 to choose from. We have 14 left. This is rad. And we've got a lot to do with in here. So this is our light color. So now, how am I going to make this also work? I think I want to make all my darks come out of this red violet. And so those are the ones on this side of the spectrum. See here, they're going to come in. Now this is going to help that make a little bit more sense. I sure love this fabric here, one of my favorite scraps. That's the same, it's just been cut down. Okay, so I'm at 4 there. And now if we pull our color wheel and we park that main arrow here on red violet, I can see what's going to happen if I can really make some things jump around a bit on the color wheel here, especially in my favorite limey greens, green yellows. Okay, that's terrific. Oh, look what that does together, folks. Okay. And then if that's here, that's straight across in my complementary. Let's go to my blue greens. I also have several of those I like to work with. That's going to be pretty. And then on this other side here, more of those yellow oranges. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to make 15 fabrics, but I've certainly got a cluster of color here going on. So we decided that was 4. Here's another 3 to work with. So that's 7. And 6 more is 13. That's pretty dang close. Close enough. So, okay, now, how do we translate this into the star? I think this is sometimes where I get challenged so much on this block here, especially because, okay, that's going to be easy enough. I still want just these to be my lights now, because this is going to be my light for my low volume neutral. All of these will read, I know it's kind of crazy. So what it's really going to do is it's actually going to read maybe like a dark, and these will be my lights, but the star then is going to pop right against these. So if the complementary color was these yellow greens, then these become my mediums, any of these colors, and then I can actually use these crazy ones as my darks, which I like, which means I'm going to have a bright orange star in and amongst all of these as I go. Okay, fantastic. So now with that said, let's go ahead and start pairing up for our half square triangles. So following our units guide down here today, I need 1 set of squares because I get 2 half square triangles from every set of squares. And that's going to feature a light and a dark and a light here and a medium. Set those aside for half square triangles. Okay, so that I only need to do 1 of these. Now in here, I need 3 light and dark half square triangles twice. So that's 6. And I actually need it again over here, just in a different orientation. So I technically need 12. So we need to put together 6 half square triangles. And that's going to be from this pile here, because these are my darks, and then this pile here. So I'm going to have to not use this constantly, I believe, for all of my, oh, no, I can. I can keep this as half square triangles, which will make consistency. And then when I get into these squares here, I can use those from this pile to help it pop. This is going to be terrific. Okay, I see it now. So again, with these, I need 12. So there's going to be 6 created. And then I want to pair those here with any of my, what would be medium fabric, oh, excuse me, I'm still on my darks, which should be my dark fabrics. Let's save. I only have one of those, and I see I'm going to want one of these for a square. So let's save that, and I'll make 3 and 3. It becomes fun and challenging as we actually limit ourselves, and that really makes these scraps scrappy. And I think that that's what makes these quilts lovely as they finish out too. Super fun. Okay, so again, we've got lots of half square triangles to do today. So I'm going to get ready to chain piece all of those. I want to definitely save that for a square to be cut down. And now here, I just need the lights and the mediums, which are going to be these and these together. And I need to make 4, having 1 each. So I need 2. Wow, my brain is cranking today, and it's not even time for that extra coffee yet. And I'm going to, again, kind of keep these. Yeah, I am. I'm going to keep these in this lighter side. I already used this one, so now I'm going to switch it up, and I'm going to use this one, which will give me what I need. Okay, so now those are all my half square triangles, I believe. Then let's just use this to also count out. Unit 1, I have no squares. Unit 2, I need 1 square each. Excuse me, unit Q. I said, yeah, 1 square each times 2, that's 1, 2 here. And then I also need 2 from the other go about. So we're going to take that one and another one of these dots, mostly just to save and work through my pile here. So these will be squares for those. And then in these, I will need 4 more squares of my mediums. And we decided we're going to have 1, 2. Oh, this is fun. Look, I can use the backside of that if I wanted to. That's really cool. Here, here, here. And then I also need basically 8 of these. Now from these, I'm not going to use any more from here. So that's real easy, especially because I have 2 made from that pile. So then I'll just grab 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. And I'm just lining up each pile with 1 good corner, because I'm going to just trim these down now to 2 1/2, making sure I actually cut them down to 2 1/2 on both sides. Okay, let's go ahead and get all this out of our way. I'm going to slide this edge guide out of the way, and I'm going to start cranking out these half square triangle units, getting 2 per square set. And I will literally be right back with all of these prepped out and show you what we've come up with here. And in the meantime, let me show you what I'm excited about with these upcoming announcements. And that's right, let's get into those announcements. Thank you again, all of you, for being here. And of course, I'd like to invite you to enjoy and join our Facebook group. So well, Rob Appell, there are 3 questions you need to answer, and I will let you in. And again, I thank you all for posting your wonderful photos out there. So keep posting your work. It is super fun to see what you are all up to out there. And I'm super excited. I'll let you know, this week on Wednesday, I created a fun little holiday block, a perfect patchwork pine tree block using scraps again. I actually added some of our scraps back to my Scrap Master pile here, just using half square triangles and then squares in the background. So I have a tutorial, very simple, up on how this works in fun. So make sure you check that out and share it. I think these would be great as like a quick little facing on and then bordered for a holiday tote bag. You could quickly quilt this up, and then maybe you could even stitch in or embroider with some decorative stitches, some fun ornaments, or of course you could sew on buttons, embellish with threads or whatnot, and decorate. You can make great little wall hangings and frame them. Thank you to my friend Sherry, who has gotten addicted to framed quilts. So super fun to see that opportunity. And speaking of holidays, it is still the 12 days of Quiltmas, and today is day 11. This is super, super exciting because it is Friday. It is December 12th. And we are doing a super great deal on retreats, including, and just released today, the Rob Appell September applique experience. Oh my goodness, it's going to be incredible. So folks that have been following along, I want to see how quickly we sell this out today. So just launched today. We're doing a deal, stitchinheaven.com. Check out the retreats. 12 days of Quiltmas retreats today, Friday. There's been great deals all the last couple of weeks and one more tomorrow still. But today we're talking about retreats. Especially, I want you to think about mine. So you've probably remember seeing the Bird of Paradise quilt that I've done before, which is a very simple, basic patchwork featuring squares and rectangles, and then really fun applique featuring this was my New Worlds fabrics, right? And then of course, as one of the huge hits out there right now has been Kevin. And Kevin, the hummingbird here, features same concept, patchwork background, and then my applique fabrics and they're not just applique fabrics, they're cool geometric fabrics, but of the New and Newer World series. So there's 18 different fabrics featured in Kevin, and I will have a new one coming up in time for the retreat. You can also do the awesome Inda Blossoms quilt, which is a fantastic quilt that I have another tutorial for. That's where I got inspired to start doing more and more of the patchwork backgrounds, and I think it really lends to the construction. And of course, you can also work on your own. I'm happy to advise on that after you've taken some of the preliminary courses with me during the early hours of those days of the retreat. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so exciting. So yes, Rob Appell applique experience coming up September 2026. But today, the 11th day of Quiltmas, you can sign up at a discounted rate, which is super, super cool. Now, at the end of the month, if you haven't heard enough about it already, of course, the New Year's Day sew along with Tiffany Hayes and myself will both be instructing live here on YouTube. It's totally free. You do need to sign up with your email if you would like to know what to cut in advance. Of course, we still have a few kits left from production, and I won't completely unpack Tiffany's, but you can at least still see the beautiful colors in her batiks, the rust, the oranges, the beautiful burgundy. These are all designed from Tiffany and Island Batik, and super cool. And then I am working with mine, so I can unpack. Uh-oh, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, aren't I? Let me just set this over here right now, because those will all go back in the bag. And I am also working to build, as you know I always do, the prep work for the sew along. We also make a follow-up tutorial, a tech savior, just in case we run into trouble. But what I want to show you, maybe easiest to see here, is the way that your quilt kits are coming are triangles, squares, rectangles, strips, but everything is pre-labeled. This is what I want to show you. So this is going to be like our piece F, and it's going to tell me how many, 32 triangles. And though I have other triangles, they're a different size, folks. So they're in a different bag. See what I'm trying to show you? That I think is super cool. So then my piece H, I'll have 64 of those. And so you can see, even if it's the same fabric, once it's a different size or a different cut, it's bagged into different bags. So I'll have these long skinny strips for part of it. And of course you can get my mandala fabric. So I'm really excited about this. It is going to turn out incredible. And this will be my weekend sewing as I begin the prep work for the big New Year's Day sew along. So of course, like I said, it's free for everybody to join along, and it will be starting, I want to say, at 9 a.m. Central Time. Maybe, I think it's 10 a.m., excuse me, Central Time. on New Year's Day. And like I said, Tiffany and I are going to sew with all of you all the way through the parts and pieces. No one's expected to finish, but we will have all of the different units assembled so that you can see. And of course, Tiffany got a head start. She designed the pattern, so she has a quilted version she will share with you, but it's a mystery. So not until after all of our work is done. That's going to be great. So I'm super excited about that. Now, we also have a retreat on site in Quitman, Texas for the New Year's Day sew along, and that's going to be amazing. So make sure you sign up for Camp New Year's. That's going to be super fun, especially because then I'll be pretty relaxed afterwards and come and hang out and do some holiday sewing with all of you after. That's going to be cool. So make sure you sign up for that. Maybe you need Santa to put a cruise registration in your stocking this year. So don't forget, we've got some incredible cruises coming up in 2026 and of course 2027, but why wait? So check out what's sailing in 2026 on stitchinheaven.com. We've got some treats coming up early on in the season. So you'll want to have Santa put that registration in your stocking sooner than later because it's going to be an amazingly good time. Oh, found some extra fabric. Now, before I design this quilt with all of you, let's jump quickly into the grateful list because it's probably the most important thing that we all should do each and every morning is think about the things we are grateful for. And I, of course, am super excited to be home. It is back in California. So grateful list number one is I am home in California. It is December, but I live on the Central Coast and it is a beautiful little small town community. And the weather the last few days has been awesome. So it's been really fantastic. I've been enjoying kind of a very untraditional warm spell. My wife hates it, which is crazy. Now, this is also fun though. Brings me to item number two is I have been getting up early. I never really left Central Time on this return, mostly because my wife is a gym rat. She gets up super early and I have had a lot of sewing and prep work and video work I wanted to do for all of us this last couple of weeks. And so at any rate, I've been getting up literally at 5 a.m. as well. But my goodness, I am getting so much more done before I peter out in the afternoons just by being up that extra hour early. So anyways, that is actually item number two, is up early and enjoying all the benefits of being productive with that. Speaking of being productive, item number three, electricity. I know, it sounds crazy, doesn't it? Electricity. So before I left for Texas 2 weeks ago now, I decided to fix just a switch. It was just a switch, and I've built a million switches in my home. And whatever I did, I don't know. The next thing I knew, it was all taken apart. There was 4 switches in that junction box. Next thing I know, my buddy, who actually is quite good at electricity, he came over, he couldn't fix it. So I left for a week with a giant piece of cardboard taped over the hole in the wall. Don't worry, the breakers were turned off. And no lights in the kitchen. Oh my goodness. Now, fortunately, my wife doesn't cook much, and the appliances such as the refrigerator, the coffee maker, and of course the microwave were functional. But so I came home to that busted, but I'd already scheduled an electrician, spent all day, 2 folks trying to figure out all the different problems I caused by fixing a single switch. But right now, it is wonderful to have electricity in my home again. So as simple as it may sound, I was so grateful to be able to see in my kitchen the last few days. So anyways, thank you for Ethan and Ryan for coming over and making my home safe, sound, and bright again. You're awesome, gentlemen. Okay, and last but not least, item number 4, good friends. One of the things I'm often reminded of in both happy and sad times are all my great friends, my amazing Ohana that is out there. And so at any rate, folks, I know several of you are actually watching along as we get into the holiday season. Don't forget about all of the good friends we have. And this is a great time to drop a note out there, a phone call, a quick text, something to just remind those folks that maybe we have not been in so much contact with lately, that we are super, super grateful for them out there. We love them and we care for them, and we are just reaching out. So that was my item number 4, good friends, all that I have and all that I will make. And hopefully I am also a good friend to many of them out there. Now, let's get back to block number 6. And yes, I did trim out the half square triangles. I did trim down my 3s to 2.5s. So hopefully the rest of the design here should go fairly smoothly. Did I just jinx myself? Okay, now remember, the dark is my light today, meaning the dark is my orange. So if I just go with this to start with, let's just see what I can do here, if I can stay on track this one. I think that I struggle with this block more than any of them. Okay, so lights and lights here with my oranges. And then that means I'm going to use different ones from my green family now to come in, because that was going to be the mediums. That's the center unit. Easy enough, maybe. Now, off of there, I was going to have orange squares. So let's put one here, here. That's right, orange and orange there. Oh, and then orange is going to be here and here. I think that might have been what I messed up the last time we did this. It's kind of, looks like a bow tie right now. Okay, cool. That made that easier. Now we need our lights with our oranges, which will be these ones again, to build out the rest of our stars and our symmetry. So right here, where that square just came in, and with my orange facing out, let's choose a, I only have a couple of choices. So I'm just going to put orange facing out there. And then it's going to come back with my orange here. So that's basically now the Q and the P units. And I just built them here, as you remember, or if you're just joining, I like to actually develop all of these, and then I'm going to sew them all in rows of the squares. That way I can press them to nest them. I'm coming up with all these fun little terms right now. I think that's kind of cool. Okay, so now let's get these corner units built, and those we're going to feature. That's right, this is the rest of my lights. So that means in each one of these corners is going to be one of these blue-green. And I can flip that one upside down. That's pretty cool to make that work like that. Okay, and then on the corners facing out will be the limey lighter green. And now as we go ahead and we're just going to mix these up. Oh, silly. I cut, well, that's fine because now I know I want, oh, that's right. I had these 2 squares that I'd set back in my pile. Perfect. Okay, so that's what our block is going to look like. I like it. Oh, let's mix this one up. Let's get a little more movement going on. There we go. I like it more. Okay, so like I said, now we're going to lock down that 1/4 inch seam guide. And I'm going to go ahead and start to stitch row, block to block to block in each row. And then I press each row so that I can nest them back together. It's real easy. So not really chain piecing, just piece by piece. And when I have so many triangles, I really keep bringing it back to the work to make sure that I keep my orientation correct. Okay, now I've got all of my blocks assembled into rows. And when I say we're going to press to nest, something like that, that simply means that in one row, I'm going to iron each of the seams to the left-hand side. And the next row, I want to iron them all to the right-hand side, but I feel it's just easier for me to rotate the strip. Keep on pressing. And then you just need to make sure that you rotate it back And then that helps you check all your work. So I'll do all of my strips before I start sewing any of them together to hopefully confirm that I have kept my design orientation correctly. But I do like this method. It works a lot. I'm not going to get into the debate over ironing or pressing. I am a carefree quilter. I am lucky to get the whole thing stitched together without leaving my scissors or something like that inside of the quilt. I always like it when you're doing a remodel and you open up a wall and you find somebody's tool. Recently, I found a wrench from my mechanic on my windshield. I brought it back. I'm a nice guy. Okay, you can see it's all forming correctly. Last one's going to rotate because the first one didn't. That confirms that it was all done correctly also, hopefully, maybe, possibly. So with that said, now this makes it real simple to join these unions here at the machine, lining up the blocks and the seams, 1/4 inch still. However, at this point, I do like to press as I go. And therefore, I want to check where I'm at. So this is my outside. So I'm going to start to press all in one direction. It'll be easier once that 3rd row comes on. So now, again, very simply, confirm everything is still in the appropriate design. Lock together those seams and sew out the rest of the block. Oh, this is getting exciting, folks. Here we are. Week 7, Scrap Masters, Series 2, random scrap block generated. This was block number 6, 15 fabrics, using the red violet as our guide. And I'm very pleased. I think this is going to be a stunning block. And of course, it's going to do great things as we add it into our design wall. It's going to start to really, I think, help bring our story together a little bit. I'm excited, and I am so blessed to have had you all joining me today for the live sew along. So great to have you. Don't forget about the 12 days of Quiltmas, and of course, today being day 11, Friday, you can sign up for my quilt retreat at a discount, but do not wait. It will not last. And again, folks, thank you so much for joining me. We will see you next time. And until then, please stay well.